All right, let's continue on here. We will now move to cylinders. Got the polygon cylinder options window right up here. Radius, height, axis divisions, height divisions, and cap divisions. So let's go ahead and take a look at the default settings here. By the way, if you ever just want to get back to your defaults, you can just go to the edit and then reset settings. And then I'll go ahead and set it back to the defaults here. So radius, that's going to be pretty obvious. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and make it, and then we can just come down here and I'll show you what radius does. As expected, changes the radius of the cylinder. Height is going to change the cylinder height. Set that back to 2. We've got subdivisions around the axis, if I want fewer. And then subdivisions height, that's going to just add an extra edge in the middle there. And then on the cap, that's basically going to do the same thing. Whoops, not 21. 2 would have been fine, just to demonstrate what's going on there. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Oh, we've got round cap here. I don't know if this is actually going to work because I didn't really set it up from the get-go here. It looks a little bit strange. So let's go ahead and enable round cap, and for my cap divisions, I'll just set it to 8. And that's the shape that we get. So you can see we're basically getting this this pill shape here. So that's what you get when you do the round cap. And then as far as this stuff goes, we'll get to the UVs a little later. By default, you should just go ahead and turn them on. You probably want to end up using them if you ever start with a primitive. You're going to do something else more interesting with it. But well, you know what the heck, doesn't hurt. So all right, that is cylinder. Let's take a look at cone. It's going to be probably a lot of the same stuff. Let's just do a little experiment here. What happens if I try with some cap divisions? Yeah, okay, great. And then I don't hardly ever use any of these. This is mostly just like here's what these things do. Taurus, that's just a donut. You know, whatever, no big deal. These are, sometimes you'll, like the primitives that I end up using are generally like cylinders and occasionally a torus, depending on what the application is. But for you guys, it's mostly just a tour of Maya's features. And again, I'm just modifying the construction history here in the inputs of the channel box, which you should have by default. But if you don't, you can just go to Windows, General Editors Channel Box, and it will pop right up there. All right, let's get rid of the torus, and we'll take a look at plane. Planes are useful for baking. Baking is something that we will talk about at some point, but for now, whatever. It's a simple polygon plane, and same kind of deal, like we get access to the number of subdivisions, so if I wanted fewer or more, it's easy to change that after the fact. And let's see, we've got a disk. So disk is probably going to have some options for how it is going to be topologized. Let's take a look at that. So we've got 3 circle. If I say quads, we can take a look at it. Obviously not very pretty with that. Here's our pi. That is very interesting. Anyway, whatever, right? You can play with that if you need it. Okay, so then platonic solid. If you ever need an icosahedron, well, there you go. This is your soccer ball type stuff. And you can, let's see what the options are here. Change all of these things, but I actually want to play with some of this stuff. Let's see what a tetrahedron looks like. Cool, right? So I've been a professional game artist for like a decade, and I don't think I've ever used one of these in a production. So whatever, they're here if you need them. But we're not going to spend too much time on that stuff. Pyramid, you know, whatever, pyramid. Let's see, prism. That shape there. And you can add more sides if you want, I guess at a certain point. Yeah, whatever, that might be useful. Let's see, we've got a pipe. Pipe's probably actually kind of useful, but I would generally be extruding like a curve along another curve to get kind of tubes or something. We can talk about that when we start getting into NURBS or whatever. But yeah, so there's your pipe. And then helix, fun for springs. Got a gear. And if you look at the options for the gear, there's probably things that you can change that are kind of useful on that. Right, so there's a lot more options here because there's a lot more stuff that you can potentially tweak. So let's go ahead and create one and just look at the, let's see, like gear spacing. If I say, I don't know, whatever, 0.25. Right. So it will procedurally decide what the spacing should be based on what the values are here. So yeah, okay, that's cool. Soccer ball. I guess when I was talking about this earlier, I was wrong because this is actually a soccer ball. I was talking about the platonic solid stuff. And then SuperEllipse. It's way better than a regular ellipse. I don't actually know too much about these. Let's see if we can change some of these values. Oh my gosh, that's why they call it SuperEllipse. Look at these zillions of possible values. Let's just set this to like 0.5. Anything happen? Fascinating. No, definitely not. There's probably something that you can do with this, and I'm sure it's in here for a reason, but I'm not going to really ask you to play with it too much. Maybe it's just like that, right? Okay, whatever. What else do we have here? And then spherical harmonics. Yeah, again, I'm not. There's probably something cool that you can do with this, but it's not something that I've needed to mess with. You can, if you want, over here with the middle mouse button. You see it kind of. Let's see if it's not even necessary. Okay, this is just a left mouse button click, but I don't really want to mess with that one too much. Let's see, nothing going on there. Whoa, okay, well, that's pretty cool. Harmonics, huh? Cool. All right, well, I guess if you want to make like a crazy random shape, then yeah, sure, why not? All right, some of these things don't seem to be. Whoa, that's awesome too. All right, well, that's totally insane and cool. And all right, well, go ahead and keep that one in my back pocket for later on if I ever need that stuff. And then ultrashape. Oh my gosh, how could it be better than spherical harmonics? Well, let's just take a look at the options. Now I know where the cheat is. Start changing these values around, see what happens. Where's the magic one? Whatever. Okay, anyway, this stuff that I really use mostly is like sphere, cube, and cylinder. These three up here. So if you understand how to make these, and you understand what the options do, and you understand how to noodle with the inputs to get your construction history, to change it if you need to, or just right up front when you're creating it, that's really all you're going to need from the Polygon Primitives menu and Create here in Maya.